Comic book sales have been slowly declining at a very alarming rate, to the extent that not even big crossover events can really change the declining numbers. Why are manga sales continuing to skyrocket while comic books are failing as a media source? Well, it's a couple of big reasons I can see. Demand and piracy, alternative media, and fan versus writers. And fucking Paul. Okay, that last one might have been a little bit of a joke, but still, writers, please stop making weird self-inserts. On a serious note, the demand for comic books just isn't there anymore. As time goes on, demographics change and/or the people who were avid fans just get older and their interest begins to falter. This phenomenon isn't limited to comic books, this happens with almost every source of media. I guess the problem we have to solve now is why is this type of attention decline affecting the comic book industry so heavily? The demand for comics just isn't what it used to be, and even for the people who still are big-ass man-children who dwell in their mother's basements, why would they have to pay for comics in this new age of technology? They could either pirate the comic book they want, or hell, just wait for the plethora of YouTubers to read comic runs online to read their favorite run, and digest the comic book that way. Part of the joy in reading a comic is getting to the very last page and seeing whatever big twist is unveiled for that month. That type of enjoyment is very hard to do when you scroll on YouTube or Twitter and you just get the whole gist of the comic from a thumbnail or a headline. Modern media spoils the glee in digesting a comic book. It spoils the fun of digesting comic material and actually planning your own theories and see how the comic book will eventually turn out. Clickbaity thumbnails and titles ruins the commitment that one could make to a comic book. Alternative media doesn't help comic book sales. It's way more accessible for a general audience. It's easier to reach a wider demographic with movies, video games, and TV shows and animations than it is to get them to read a comic book. Think of it like this, it's way easier to take a girl on a date to watch the new Spider-Man movies than it is to bring a girl back to your house and read the entire fucking Spider-Man run with her. You know what's crazy? You would think alternative media would help bring more people back to the source material, but it hardly does. The people digesting this form of media are already fans or are just people trying to watch something for the time being. They're not trying to learn the lore about the domestic abuse between Ant-Man and the Wasp. Lastly, and almost probably the biggest reason why I see comic book demand just quickly declining is the battle between fans and writers. A big reason a lot of fans leave the world of comics is because they simply are just unhappy. It's tiring to see the characters you love regress. It's tiring to see the characters you love show no growth and remain stagnant for 800 issues. And for the love of God, it's tiring to see Peter Parker suffer for the 1 millionth fucking time with no peaceful ending in sight. A horrible writer can damage comic sales and retention drastically. I mean, look at what Ken Penders and what he tried to do with the Sonic IP. To be frank, it's not entirely the writer's fault. Sometimes fans are just too unreasonable or too hard to please. It's probably terrifying as a writer to wanting to do something with a new character but you can't due to some brain-dead troglodyte threatening your family because you gave Wonder Woman pants. It's also probably terrifying for the corporate side of things too. When big changes go bad, comic book sales drop, so it's very easy to see why Marvel and DC are scared to progress. As a matter of fact, it's easy to see how all of these factions could easily feel. Who knows if comic books would get to what they were? I doubt it, but regardless, I'm going to keep reading. Now subscribe before I break in your house and lather you in baby oil and light you on fire. If you ever want to see your family again, subscribe. Subscribe. I said fucking subscribe. Just subscribe.